In today's video, we're gonna be taking a look at these two group sets. On the one hand, I have here the new Ultegra 12-speed Di2 versus the new Shimano 105 12-speed Di2. We're gonna be weighing each component against each other. I have the full group sets. We're gonna talk about weight differences, and also at the end of it, I'm gonna give you guys a price difference, and we can figure out which one is a better bang for the buck. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Two things to take note that I already know the differences of. These cranks are both 172.5 crank arm lengths, but the Shimano 105 is a 50-34, and the Ultegra is a 52-36, so there is a chainring size difference there. And also for the chains, I have the 12-speed 105 chain, but the chain I have for the Ultegra group set is gonna be Dura-Ace. I don't have any Ultegra, but I'll kind of weigh and then we can make our assumption it's only gonna be a couple grams off. But again, the wires are gonna be exactly the same, the battery's gonna be the same, and the bottom bracket, I don't have a bottom bracket. This is a Origin 8 BSA bottom bracket, so I'm gonna be using for both groups and both prices as well, just to let you guys know. All right, so everything is laid out on the table out of the box as is. I'll be going down the row one by one, weighing the two differences. Just a couple of things I noticed between the two groups. A lot of the stuff looks identical. A few things I noticed. The 105 bolt cap, for some reason, is extra long, whereas on the Ultegra and the Dura-Ace, super short. Maybe some weight savings there, who knows? Lock rings for the 105 rotors are massively heavy, or feel massively heavy, we'll find out, compared to the Ultegra ones. These are the new Ultegra rotors. We all know this one, the 105 front derailleur. This thing has this massive brain block to it, whereas the Ultegra is much more sleeker. And that was really it. The rear derailleurs are almost identical. Shimano Dura-Ace chain XTR, 126 links. All right, so now that we got all the different components out of the way, I'm still going to weigh the wires, the battery, and the bottom bracket, but these will be the exact same for the groups. And right now I'm using a 800mm wire and a 1200mm wire. These work for pretty much almost all bikes, depending on where you run into. Battery. 52 grams. 800mm wire. 6 grams. 1200mm wire. 10 grams. Bottom bracket is Origin 8. I don't have Shimano, but I'll weigh it anyways. Regular threaded BSA bottom bracket. This is like an alloy shell. 92 grams. So let me add all this up and we'll get back to the video. So after all that being completed, the weights are in. For the Ultegra group set, with everything I showed you guys, weighs in at 2,834 grams. And for the 105 Di2 group set, it weighs in at 3,073 grams. That's a difference of 239 grams, which is not as what I expected. I would think that the 105 group set might be a little bit more heavier than that, but it all depends on the price as well between the two of them, which I have the prices here for you as well. Some noticeable differences. I thought it was gonna be like a big difference of like SRAM rival to SRAM 4s, like that big of a weight difference. But some noticeable differences I want to talk about were mainly the lock rings that came with the Shimano 105 rollers. These things were 42 grams alone, which are crazy stupid heavy, whereas these were only 16. So I mean, you want to start saving some grams, go ahead and get that. The difference between the cranks were only about 40 grams. I would have thought that would have been more. they look almost identical. The aesthetics of the 105 is actually really nice. It's like a brush, looks like almost like a black stainless steel brush black. But they're almost identical. It's 40 grams difference there. And granted, again, this is a 50, whereas that's a 52, so there is a little bit of a difference in weight. Another thing that really stood out to me, the Ultegra brake calipers. Let me actually switch this over here. Sorry. The 105 and the Ultegra brake calipers, these are stock. This is how it's gonna come standard with the mount and everything, are the exact same weight. 332 grams for the 105, 332 grams for the Ultegra, which is crazy because they almost do look identical to the brake calipers. I mean, I was trying to look for anything on there that looked different. The brake pads look the same, the fittings look the same, everything on here looks exactly the same, and the hoses are probably the same. So that's already pre-cut, exact same weight, which is crazy. The 105 shifters don't have the buttons up top here, whereas the Ultegra shifters do. And the shifters were a difference of about like 40 grams as well. So you have 40 grams difference of the cranks, 40 grams difference of the shifters. And then another big one that I thought this was gonna weigh much heavier than the Ultegra, because obviously just look at the two of them. You have this Frankenstein head on the 105, whereas you have the Ultegra, which is a much more sleeker one. Only a difference of about 20 grams, I think it was. Whereas on here, the 105 derailleur was 40 grams heavier than the Ultegra derailleur, which I could feel that when lifting up. But in terms of the how it works and everything, same limit screws, same button to pair it, same charging port, everything there. And another thing that really stuck out to me, I thought the 105 cassette was gonna be much heavier. It was only 10 grams difference, 9 grams difference. I mean, I might just think that this is the exact, I was trying to look for difference. The top cap might be different, like this I'm sure is a little bit lighter than this 105. But the back plate of this thing, these are both 1134 cassettes, by the way. So they are the same, but it looks the same. It just looks like this has a different coating on here. I don't know, very weird to me. But yeah, so let me get you guys a price of this thing. Let me know what you guys think of the weights, if you guys are as shocked as I was. Again, I made a video on this a while ago saying that it's almost like a redundant group to have the exact same thing. I think that Shimano, obviously I'm not a smart guy that works at Shimano. I'd probably have a higher pay grade if I had this, but my thoughts would be that one, it's gonna sell regardless, but one, I would think Shimano should be a little bit cheaper of a price to compete like against SRAM Rival. I'll tell you guys the price point of this, but like SRAM Rival's like 1,600 bucks for a full group set, or 1,500 bucks. These two group sets are so similar, and for the price difference, it's I don't know, we'll talk about it. Let me get the price sheets for you. And now for the price difference of these group sets. All these components scanned into my computer as is. For the 105 side, this thing came in around $1,956 USD before taxes. So that's everything you see here is $1,956. Crank, rotors, brakes and calipers, front derailleur, rear derailleur, cassette, chain, charger, 2 cables, battery, and bottom bracket. That's everything you need. Make sure when you get a price quote out, it has all this stuff because you need that on there. And the Ultegra came in right around $2,700. And it's again the exact same stuff. Crank, rotors, brake calipers, shifters, front derailleur, rear derailleur, cassette, and the Durex chain, and the battery. Same bottom bracket, same battery, and same wires. So, and the charger as well. So there's a difference of $750. That's a pretty big price discrepancy between the two of them. $700, at my point, it's for what the groups are. That's a huge jump up to only be saving about 400 grams, I think it was, or 200 some grams. I mean, if you don't mind, it's just riding 105, and just because of the fact that it says 105, this is a really functional group. Efficiency, functional. It's 200 and some grams, 239 grams heavier, but it literally does the exact same stuff as the Ultegra. You're missing the shifter buttons on the top of the hoods, but in terms of that, you can swap out some of the stuff. You could probably save a couple grams by getting a Ultegra cassette. You can probably just buy an Ultegra front derailleur as well if you want that faster shifting, and different lock rings, and you might be right around Ultegra to save the $750. That 105 group set is a deal, is a bargain compared to 105 and Ultegra. I talked on this smallly about the Trek bicycles on their pricing for the SLR. They have 3 price points for the SLR. They have their Dura-Ace bike that retails for $13,000. They have their Ultegra bike that retails for $8,550, and they have a 105 Di2 bike that retails for $8,000. Between the Ultegra Di2 and the 105 Di2 It's a $550 difference. It doesn't make any sense to me. It just really doesn't, to have those bike prices that are there, $8,000, $8,550, to get a difference of 105 and Ultegra group set. The prices don't add up. It's kind of a redundant group set, like to be right there. Like if I have $8,000, I'll probably splurge for $8,550 just to get the mid-tier group set. But in terms of functionality and shifting, if you guys are wondering how they compare to each other, the 105 shifters are the exact same ergonomics as the Ultegra. You get the same blade, you get the same pedal, you get the same brake calipers on here as well, so it looks like they're gonna be a pretty similar stopping power. And then in terms of the software, it's the exact same software, the exact same battery. You're not losing any kind of really efficiency there. The only real difference is this 105 front derailleur that has this bigger head that they say is slower than the, it doesn't have the Hyperglide Plus with the front derailleur, whereas this one does. But man, it's crazy to me. I don't get it. Doesn't make any sense to me. But I figured I'd make this video, go ahead and talk about it to you guys. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Hopefully you guys enjoy this, and hopefully this information is useful to you. Drop a like if you liked it. Drop a thumbs down if you hate it. Leave me a comment if you like my voice. If you hate me, tell me otherwise. Bye.